Yeah, it will hold. And she's like, oh my God, I love it. Jason Engineering, genius.
Yeah, right. That's a title I've been waiting patiently for.
And then when you called about the whole like helping her with the drill thing, she was like, he's the best brother I never had. And I'm like, oh, okay, enough is enough now. Like,
1000%.
hey, babe.
Hello. Not yet.
Not yet. Last minute, had to call an audible.
You parked in my snow.
Asshole.
I'm sorry.
I have a broken toe and I had to walk all the way from FedEx.
Well, I didn't think that you were going to be here so fast. Love you.
You have a spare fur shawl for me?
It's my white one that I'm not wearing.
White on the tux as well.
I have two white ones.
Can I wear it?
You want?
Oh, fucking right. 1000%. A shawl? The MC with the shawl. Fur shawl. I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Okay, in between like
we're
bonding
filming.
with my wife-to-be and mugging me off, maybe we can get on with this video.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another. We're still in McInnes Marketing Minute.
We are still, there's a hint for the people. A hint.
Coming.
Things are changing.
Change is on the horizon.
Do that later. We are still McInnes Marketing, so this is still a McInnes Marketing Minute. Now today, similar to last...
I actually have no idea what we're talking about.
A couple weeks ago, I don't remember when it was. Oh yeah, it was last week. We went through the Liberal platform.
Yep.
My opinions of what's going to happen. And that's fine. It's fine. It's a good video. But this week we're going to switch it around a little, and I'm going to take some current events that the mainstream media.
Always the truth tellers.
Vancouver Sun is
ask Joe Rogan and CNN right now.
I saw that. Is talking about, and I'm going to give you a little 2 cents on the topics that they're spreading. It's not negative, but that they're putting out there, and just what your thoughts are.
Okay. All right.
So you've not been preempted on any of these topics. There's 3 topics here. I'm going to go into the details.
Correct. And I will point out the reason why I am casual today, I'm not even apologetic about it.
You should be.
Is because it's my wedding this weekend, so I'm taking some time off. So I'm actually doing this as a favor, not even to you, but to the people, so that they're not just looking at your face and listening to you ramble on for 15 minutes. You're dressed casually.
It's like it's my birthday week.
I'm taking time off for a wedding, Jay. Got things to do.
I'm not going to comment when someone else is in the house, but we'll discuss that later. Okay, so welcome, Casual Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you for the coffee. So today's first topic, early proposal for Jericho land's development includes 3 38-story towers and 10,000 homes. I too have to give my 2 cents at some point here. The lands, the old armory, the old...
Oh, so as you're driving into UB towards
military base.
On your left.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that's a little... So this is a proposal. Now, let me just remind you, no, it's in conjunction with a certain native band, which I have the name here.
So it would be leasehold then?
It will assumably be leasehold, Musqueam, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that. TW Nations, we'll say. And Canada Lands Co. and MST Development Corp. Now, the interesting thing about this, before I get your 2 cents, is that right now, the area currently has 13,000 residents. Now, as we all know, Point Grey is arguably one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the country, let alone, of course, in the province. And it's amazing. I went to school on Point Grey, right? Good old Lord paying up on 16th there. God, those were the days. Anyway, so Point Grey currently has 13,000 residents. So they're going to add 10,000 plus 3 38 stories. So I'd argue they're over doubling the residency of Point Grey. Now, Point Grey is, of course, mainly detached homes, very expensive and beautiful. Yeah. There was that little kerfuffle with the mayor that he was going to put down in the Jericho hostel place. He was going to put the
where the old yacht
shelter,
club, where the yacht club was,
which is just a disgusting suggestion, if I may say so myself. But that's off the table. Thank you very much, as the mayor should be out. But that's a whole other story anyway. But it's beautiful down there, and now they're proposing a doubling. And a big part of that, residential towers, which means smaller units, which means a very different demographic entering the neighborhood. Ben, take it away.
Yeah, it's kind of like a catch-22 because we desperately need more homes.
there, though?
And that's the thing. I don't know if we necessarily need more leasehold homes, because even from a buying perspective, they're so much harder to get into and buy. 30% down.
No, it won't be like co-op. Like, it'll be like normal.
You still need the 30% down on leasehold. We have this conversation all the time. I refer you to the mortgage broker. You always come back and say, "Oh yeah, you were right." We have this conversation all the time. So 30% down.
I'm not going to comment on the down, but sure.
And a lot of them will not. Is this Jay's opinion? Opinion?
Sorry.
And then it's harder to get the financing. Is it better than nothing? Of course, yes, from a perspective of there's more homes, but should it be there? That's quite a large area, considering there's not really the transit in terms of like the SkyTrain there that you have in other areas.
The Broadway 10th line is going to go through there a couple blocks up, inevitably, whenever that's actually built.
That is.
But it's coming.
It's whenever that is built as well.
And there's Beeline buses.
I'm going to call it right now. The residents do not want it, because right now the Army Barracks is nice. It's well maintained. It's not an eyesore, and
because it's behind hedges and it's sparsely populated.
There we go. So you're bringing in that construction, then you're bringing in all of the people. Then you're going to ask yourself, as a resident, what type of people is it bringing in?
That's arguably a decade of construction.
It's basically, I just imagine it being Spectrum, but in Point Grey.
Don't ever say
just
that again.
hopefully with much better.
Not that there's anything wrong with Spectrum, but I feel that
2 elevators for massive story towers.
There are some slight issues, oversights on Concord's behalf. That's again, story for another day. I think that there has to be a line drawn for. Look at this. For is density is needed? Yes, for a problem, but is it needed everywhere? And are the people? I'm just going to put it out there. Are the people of this caliber that purchased homes at this level, do they deserve to be a part of this, or should they just be left alone over there in the corner of the city? I believe they've earned the right to be left alone.
Well, and the other thing as well is what price point are we going to be looking at here? Because there's obviously like leasehold lands and stuff already out towards UBC. It's typically a lot more expensive. People are not getting into entry-level homes there. So
nor should they.
No, and that's fair enough. But what I mean is, if you're building that many units there, who are you trying to help with the housing situation?
To my point, it's going to be expensive as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's not going to be cheap. So
density, assumably.
Again, that kind of construction is needed, but I don't necessarily think that it should be there.
So we're on the same page.
We're on the same page with that one. One thing we're on the same page with.
We can continue.
Okay, next point.
Okay, story number 2 from our beloved Vancouver Sun. Will a ban, this kind of ties into last week's my thing. Will a ban on blind bidding cool the Canadian real estate market? Let me just give you some foresight here.
Okay.
Trudeau promised transparent bidding if re-elected for another term. Here's what it means for housing prices if he follows through. So it goes in, of course, it goes into a story about a 31-year-old. We've seen it all before. 2 professionals, they're getting outbid in Toronto, 5 or 10 bids or something. They've lost out on in multiples. They don't think it's fair. So blind bidding, in their opinion, would, I think what everyone wants to see is the system that we have now, but everyone that you're in multiples with's offer is public.
Yeah.
So like there's 10 offers. Here's the highest, here's the lowest, here's everything in between. Put your offer in.
It doesn't show you the price, but it shows who's actually offering.
Well, I think what people want
is to actually see the price.
Well, of course, because they want to know. Another one of the arguments here is that if you could win it with 10,000 over, you should know that, as opposed to throw 50,000 at it because you don't know what's going to win and you're putting your best foot forward.
I thought they were tackling more so, when agents say, we've got another offer, you're in multiples.
It's also for that to prove. So there's a registry to
multiples.
prove that you're actually in multiples and the agent isn't lying, but more so there's leverage trying to be gained here in knowing what prices you're up against, and if you're going to outbid someone, you know who you're outbidding, what number they have, and by how much you're going to outbid with that clarity. So they referenced Australia, of course, that has the auctions, which I think is the cleanest, easiest way to do it if we're going to change from where we are now. But
that's essentially what it's going to be. It's essentially, with that system, it turns it into an auction. It's like an eBay bidding, but you see what the bid is, and you go, okay, I'll pay more, I'll pay more, I'll pay more, I'll pay more.
Exactly.
I'll click the system.
What are your thoughts on it? Not if you think it's going to happen, because I think we both agree it's not going to happen. No. But what are your thoughts on that?
If in a dystopian future it does happen, it actually goes towards making real estate agents less
shady.
No, well, there's that, but it also makes sense. Like that whole system you can automate. So in a sense, why do you need the realtor?
Us? How dare they try and cut us out?
Right.
Blasphemy.
And so we had one yesterday that we were in multiple offers on, and we won. And one of the things they suggested.
Go team. Congrats to our buyer. Sorry.
One of the things they suggested was, should we come up to this range? And I actually went back and I was like, I think when we get to that range, we're overpaying. You will overpay during multiple offers, but I think we're getting to an over-the-top overpaying. You have to have an upper limit. And we stuck with it and we ended up winning the offer, right? So I get the benefit for it. I don't know if seeing the prices will necessarily happen and to what extent if it did ever happen. I would understand more so actually like, okay, yes, this person, so Jay McInnes of Oakland Realty has submitted an offer necessary about saying how high it was, what the subjects were, etc. Because I think that puts some people at a disadvantage.
To show the number.
To show the number, yeah.
Who does it put at a disadvantage?
Well, okay, so if you've just got okay, you and I are up against a property. You have an extremely rich client. I do not have.
Naturally.
An extremely rich client. I just led myself into that one. And so even though the rules say we can't, but let's say we're up against each other. You as an extremely rich client can just look at whatever we're doing. There's no strategy involved in it. And it's just like, okay, yeah, so we're just going to overpay.
Pay over. So another, I don't want to call it a tactic, but thing I like to do is that if the market, if a property is not setting an offer date and the market is hot and it comes out, I say to the clients, let's put an offer in. It doesn't need to be crazy at this point, you're not competing, but at least if there's an offer in, hopefully it will scare people away and say, oh, they're already dealing with something. Half the people will do this, half won't. Depends who you'd be competing against, but hopefully it scares people away to just wait on the sidelines and watch our offer play through just because they simply don't want to compete. Obviously, showing numbers would blow that strategy out of the water because you're going to say, oh, there's an offer, yeah, but it's only this and we're willing to go higher, so therefore. Well, and to your point as well, the richer guy will just simply look at it and say, okay, great.
And so what happens as well, right? Like, okay, let's say so you can see the offer, somebody comes in with a higher offer. Okay, when somebody else comes in with a higher offer then, well, and then they've seen that offer, so they're going to keep going. Like, how long does the bidding process take? Which is why it turns us into eBay. Because it's like,
well, obviously there'll be some sort of cap.
As of this day, okay, it's done, it's taken.
Well, I think it's like, you have to have, I don't know.
So it is an auction. It's like
So one point here that this particular person in Toronto said, if there are 10 offers around the same amount, and somebody learns that there are 10 offers, they often panic and offer way more than they need to, she says. Quote, like, maybe you could have had that house by offering an extra 10,000, but instead you've offered 100 more. So again,
I don't know how many people are out there feeling slightly nervous to throw in an extra $100,000 or something.
Depends on the price. Of course there are.
It's,
how over asking
but how
did you go
often,
yesterday?
How much over asking?
Yeah.
No. Okay, we were over asking by about.
But the asking price means nothing. So an extra 100.
No, but that comment, is she saying like they panic and so they pay an extra 100,000 or?
Well, of course.
I thought you were talking about not 100,000 over asking price.
Well, just 100,000 more from whatever.
Like they've got their offer in at 850. And they're up against multiple offers, and they're like, oh my god, I need to go. I'm panicking, so 950.
Well, yeah. If you're like, call the agent and say, yeah, okay, I got 9 offers. What are you going to put in?
Well, I get that.
You're going to pick a number.
Yeah, but the reality of people panicking, and because they're in a state of
she doesn't
panic,
understand what anyone's thinking, but that's her opinion from her
so
standpoint.
That's obviously a dramatized. That's obviously a dramatized quote.
That's not dramatized. That's quoted by the Vancouver Sun.
She can dramatize. I'm not getting into this with you. I'm not getting into this with you. Next point, next conversation.
That's it? We're cutting it there?
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen, so it's kind of a moot point anyway.
Well, it's a topic of conversation. Brought to us by our fearless leader, Justin Trudeau. Okay, number 3. This is a little along the lines of something else we've recently posted, which is kind of left field as hell. No, not that one. Just tend to the camera for a second, Ben, while I look for this.
What is it they used to do? They used to like cut off and it would be like, we'll be right back. Just a blank tone.
Yeah, we don't need to do that because you're here doing nothing. So please talk to the people while I'm doing this.
You know, you can't just cut.
No,
And then
we're not
cut
cutting.
back
Consistent takes. That's what we're all about here at McInnes Marketing, soon to be changed. We'll let you in on that secret soon. Okay, you've given them nothing in the last 30 seconds. The next point. Bitcoin mining could be heating homes in North Vancouver next year.
Arguably, it's already heating homes.
Through
If anyone's mining, it's still heating your home. Through kinetic energy. You wouldn't know that. Or maybe you would because of your Point Grey education.
I was educated in the finest West Side schools, that's a fact. Wait, let me give 2 more cents on this. Because you don't understand even what I'm talking about yet. North Vancouver could become the first city in North America to warm people's homes using an unconventional method, harnessing the heat emitted from an entire room of code-cracking Bitcoin servers. The quote is, each mint green, I think that's the company, Bitcoin server can crank enough heat for 350,000 square feet of space a day. I worked that out to 175 2,000 square foot homes a day. Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
Let me just give 2 more cents here, and then you can give yours. Under the recent announcement, an agreement in terms that effect was reached between Mint Green, a Canadian tech company, and Lonsdale Energy Corp, LEC. The city-owned corporation currently heats 100 buildings containing 7,000 apartments in central and lower Lonsdale areas using... She's a noisy one, isn't she? Using a mixture of clean energy alternatives, including natural gas, boilers, and solar panels. Next year, computers working around the clock to create cryptocurrency could be added to that list. What do you think?
Okay, so buy Bitcoin, because if that's being adopted here and it's going to be adopted elsewhere, and that's exactly Bitcoin's thing, it's trying to become more legitimate. So the more it becomes legitimate, it's what?
This is unbelievable.
See what
Can we get her on camera?
No.
Yeah, get her on
Okay,
camera.
no, don't. She's going to make it. No. Okay.
So that's what this whole thing is. It's about getting as legitimate as possible and used in as many ways as possible. And the more that this happens, that's good for the stock in and of itself. And it's effective.
Makes
because
sense.
one of the big issues that they're talking about is the environmental impact that mining is doing, because obviously it uses so much electric energy. So, I mean, using it, especially if it's going to be, people are mining, they're not mining to heat homes. They're mining to obviously get Bitcoin. So
but if the byproduct.
So if the byproduct is that, then I think it's all for a good idea. Although, ironically, bit of a sideway here. So apparently all the new code moving forward for building homes, and a lot of retrofitting will happen to this, is Step Code 5. And this is essentially, like the Passive House?
Yes.
They're very close to Passive House standards. And part of it is insulation, air tightness, appliances and whatnot. But they're saying that the running cost of running one of those homes should
net
be
zero or whatever.
No, it should be the equivalent per, I think it's per square foot of running a hairdryer for an hour. Like the cost of running a hairdryer for an hour. It might be per square meter, square foot. So it's bringing down the cost substantially. And I think the mining kinetic energy that comes off of that, I'm saying kinetic energy, I think it's kinetic energy.
I wouldn't know.
Educating in Point Grey.
We didn't talk about those things back then.
So
the world is much simpler.
I'm all for it. Do you
think it'll happen?
It's more efficient.
Do you think it'll?
It's already happening anyway. Anyone who's mining, those things are going off extremely loud, extremely noisy. They're using a lot less energy than they thought, and it's obviously heating up through said kinetic energy anyway. So essentially,
I know, but this is in like a warehouse, and then they're going to divert the energy.
This is a conspiracy. This is what this is. Okay, so this is Lonsdale Energy wanting to mine bitcoins, and they're like, yeah, okay,
could be onto something there actually.
We're going to use that energy to heat homes. And once again, buy Bitcoin. It's going up.
So that's a city-owned company. Mm-hmm. So the local government is now
getting involved,
getting into Bitcoin. So we should get into Bitcoin.
Point.
Okay, that's it. Our 3 housing-related current events for this week. Thank you for your insight on that, Ben. And unless you have something else you'd like to add.
Nothing. That's it. See you next week, guys.
You're unbelievable.
Yeah. Wow.